Hey, we all know how we're gonna die, baby. We're gonna crash and burn.
Alrighty guys, today I'm going to be talking about just run collecting, just different parts of run and collecting. This might be a couple vid series, but I figured I'd show my Punisher stuff here. So just pull out first issue real quick so you have something to look at. I started collecting this when I was a kid, basically between the ages of like 13, 14 years old. I would end up completing the series back in, I think it was 2013. It was like my early days of YouTube when I used to do, when I used to have the Jolly Roger hanging behind me and all that. For those that have been around for a while, you might be able to see some of the vids still on here. I don't think I've taken them all down, but I've taken a lot of them down throughout the years. Yeah, it was one of the series that I ended up completing. I collected, I think it was basically 1988, 89. Yeah, probably 1989, I'd say, to 1994. So I had all those issues. Then stuff happened, you know. My interest turned to other things like, you know, women and going out and partying and all that fun stuff, you know. Probably should have just kept collecting comics. I've been a lot happier, but but I ended up going back through the years, or over the years from like 95 to 2013, whenever I finished up the run, just by one or two here or there, all the stuff that I missed. But back in the day, I would, these books, like this book right here, was just almost impossible for me to get at that time. It was so expensive. It was like one of those wall books, like hanging out behind the counter of the local comic shop. So it was way above my pay grade to even pick this book up. I ended up getting this in a trade. You can see how funky it is. I traded somebody from school to get this, and I can't remember exactly what I traded. I think it was one of those, it had to be, it was probably an X-Men book that I ended up getting from another trade, because back then trading was like everything. So, but yeah, you can see this was my original Punisher #1 issue. I was so happy to get it, because like I said, I couldn't afford to, I think it was going for like, sometimes you'd see it for like $30 to $40, and it just was not happening for me at that time. I'm not going to go through every single one of these issues, but then you'd see I upgraded it. I'd still like to upgrade it a little bit more to get a really, really nice copy of this. I'm going to work on that, but this one was my upgrade. I ended up picking up for $3 back in, I think it was probably 2012, 2013. It was towards the end of my collection. I found it for $3. I'd say it's you know, a very fine minus. It's got some issues on there, but right in the middle here. But other than that, it's a pretty decent looking book. But back then, like I said, everything was trading. And speaking of trading, this is going back to my friend, actually. This is his copy. I told him I'm going to give it back to him. You can tell it's really well loved. Yeah, it's got some stuff missing up there, but it's I told him I'm gonna give it back to him, so I thought that'd be cool, you know, having something from when you were a kid given back to you, because I think he lost a few of his items due to different circumstances I don't want to go into, but just to have something back from when you were a kid. So this is his issue. It's going back to him next time we meet up somewhere. I ended up upgrading it. I ended up getting like 2 copies of that, so found them both in dollar bins. So, but that was my copy for the longest time. That traded copy. You know, this was another trade. If you look at this, you'd see right there. It says 40. So it was 40 cents he paid for it. Those familiar with the Pittsburgh area, Ides Entertainment, the store downtown, I guess is right. But yeah, the 40 cents, they used to write on all their issues in pencil what they were selling them for. So he got that for 40 cents. I probably traded him, you know, something else for it. Probably like a figure or another book or something like that. But it was cool back then, yeah. But to get this, you know, was a big deal to all of us when he brought that home. So like I said, these books, you know, they were untouchable for us at that time, unless they were in that kind of condition. But I ended up picking up a lot of these. Here's a Magnolia, yeah, like Magnolia cover here. I had to go back and buy these up. Here's the infamous Daredevil versus Punisher. The cool thing is I can't remember what issue. I'll put a picture of it below or next to it. I think it's 257 Daredevil, issue 257 Daredevil. It shows two different points of view of the same story. So if you ever end up picking this up, you might want to get Daredevil 257. I believe what it is. If I'm wrong, I'll show a picture of it right in the corner there. Find that back here. But there's just like so many stories with this stuff. Let's see here. This one right here. So this is the issue that started it all for me. I read an earlier issue. I believe it was, let me see. My buddy had it. It was this issue right here. The Kingpin wants the Punisher. Damn, I might have to upgrade this one too. I'm not liking that. That's a good thing I'm going through this. I can upgrade some of this stuff. But this was the first issue I bought off the shelf. Those familiar, I'm dropping a lot of Pittsburgh references here, but it was page 3 in Bloomfield, the Little Italy of Pittsburgh. It's issue number 19. My grandfather would take us up, you know, give us each a $1, you know. And of course, he had to cover the tax, you know. But yeah, this was an issue I bought right off the rack. It was my first Punisher issue that I ever purchased. Not the first one I read, but the first one I purchased. So yeah, this is one of those issues. Even if I had I would never upgrade it because it's you know, it's a whole reason of you know, collecting runs and stuff. There's stories behind a lot of these issues. You know, just the putting a series together, especially a 104 issue run. It's just there's always going to be stories and memories behind everything. So I think that's the reason why I'm a run collector, especially, you know, when you're my age. Yeah, I've been since 80. Yeah, been reading Punisher since 89 easily, maybe possibly 88. I have to look at the dates and all that, but you know, that's a long freaking time. You know, that's a long time ago too. Yeah, but the span of me collecting the whole series from, you know, 88 to 2013, there was just so much going on. But the first issue then I went, after I bought that issue 19, the Land Down Under issue, in the Land Down Under, I went and picked this up at the local hobby shop. We used to have a hobby shop up in our one mall. Another Pittsburgh reference, if you're not familiar, is North Hills Village. There was a Bill and Walt's hobby shop, so that's where I picked this issue up. I just thought this cover was so fucking cool, man. Yeah, and the whole reason I started collecting the Punisher, and this is going to be seen like, so I ended up picking up, let me just finish that story. I ended up picking up that issue, and I ended up getting this issue, because the newsstands were always like a month behind. So this issue was already out when I went up to the store, so I ended up getting both these issues. So those are my the first 3 issues that I picked up. But the whole reason why I got into the Punisher was because, you know, he was the only one like killing anybody and stuff like that. And remember, I'm 13, 14 years old thinking this shit's cool, you know. You know, I wouldn't say that stuff now, you know, but back then that's, you know, everybody was, you know, everything was urban street warfare with the comic book stuff, you know, with Batman and the Punisher and Daredevil even. I mean, it was just even those other two characters don't destroy their enemies, kill them off. The Punisher, you know, most certainly did. That's the reason why I didn't have too many arch rivals. You know, he killed everybody. But then this would be like my also my introduction to Eric Larson. He did a couple issues of the Punisher, so because at that time I was not a Marvel fan at all. Still not the greatest Marvel fan either. Almost like looks like Eric Larson does today. Yeah, he did like the 3 issues then, or no, he did 4 issues. Yeah. But yeah, again, you know, like I said, yeah, you can tell like these are back from the day. This kind of actually got a rusty staple. I might have to replace that one too. It's a good thing I'm, like I said, I'm looking through this. But yeah, again, that's, yeah, 13, 14-year-old me was thinking this shit is cool, you know. Like, just had a lot of guns and a lot of you know, ninja stuff that was big in the 80s too. So yeah, you know, if you follow G.I. Joe and stuff, that's basically ninja porn. But this was basically, this and G.I. Joe were my only Marvel books that I was buying at the time. I wasn't even collecting Daredevil. I wouldn't collect Daredevil till probably about 3 or 4 years later after this. I mean, after like 1988, so it was in the early 90s, I was buying a couple of Daredevil issues, but that was it. And I would collect Ghost Rider also. And that was my pretty much my Marvel experience, because I was anti-Marvel at one point, which is, you know, pretty stupid, but yeah, we love this because we thought it was like a sort of like a Megadeth reference. Those that know. Then this would probably be this in the G.I. Joe Cobra Civil War. I believe that came out at the same time. This was, yeah, it was during the summer, so it was coming out like bi-weekly. If I remember correctly, yeah, this came out bi-weekly. Yeah, because it was like early August, late August, so it was and like I said, I believe it came out a month before, because this was, I wasn't buying this off the newsstand. Yeah, this is definitely direct. But this was one of the big storylines that all my friends really liked, with the Jigsaw character, and but we always thought that was so cool. And then yeah, got the license plate Red Realm. But then after that, I started falling off after, let's see, no, I was still, yeah, because, you know, the Iraq War was in full effect there. Yeah, I was still on issue 50. I think I made it all the way to, yeah, because I remember that one. I know I didn't make it. Yeah, I made it to almost. Oh yeah, after Euro hit, that's where I literally fell off after this final issue. This was like my final issue up on my pull list and stuff. So got that classic Punisher logo look there. Yeah, this was basically, I ended up stopping here because yeah, it was 92. Yeah, because 93 I was down to Batman and G.I. Joe at that point. Because I remember I was like, yeah, I'm going to stop after 7 of 7. So that's where I ended up stopping. And I would, throughout the rest of the 90s, I would start filling the rest of these in. I ended up buying this issue. I remember that when it came out because I saw it on the. So this was still during that time. It wasn't later in the 90s or anything, but ended up buying this one because I thought it was cool with the foil knife there. So and that skull, it's embossed. But at this point now, I'm like, dating, working, all that fun stuff out of high school. So I would end up buying, a lot of this stuff later. Yeah, it's a pretty cool cover. I remember specifically buying this while on YouTube. I think I may have bought this from a place that was called Nucadia Comics at the time. I would end up just picking a lot of this stuff up through dollar bins, even the earlier issues that I missed. Because like I said, I had the first 2 issues. Then for the longest time, I had like issue like 16, 17 to all the way to whatever that was that at the end of Euro hit 70 or whatever. But I ended up filling a lot of these in. Like this issue right here, I ended up picking this up during my YouTube beginnings there. But I would make it all the way through. Like this was a tough book to get for some reason for me. It's at the Bill Sienkiewicz cover there. I remember this one being tough to get. You can tell it's like not in the greatest condition either, but it's and the book that was the biggest pain in the ass for me to get back then. You probably find it a lot easier nowadays, but it was this issue. This is probably the last issue, maybe the last possible 2 issues, but this issue was so hard for me to find. I think I ended up paying, maybe like $15 for it, which was a lot of money to me back then. Back in 2012, I didn't really like spending that kind of money on stuff, but now I was in the mindset of, oh yeah, I'll just find it in dollar bins, because I found literally everything else in dollar bins at the time. All the way up to like issue 90. What was that? The issues in the 90s here were pretty tough to get. I ended up having to order a lot of them. Like this one, I actually paid $2 for that one, so that wasn't too bad. $2.50 for that one. Oh, yeah. Put that right there. This was another issue that was tough to get. It's the foil issue 100. Giant sized. But yeah, that was basically my journey to collecting this run. It wasn't difficult finding a lot of the issues. Like I said, the last few issues between 100 and 104 are pretty tough to get. 90 and above, or basically I couldn't find them in dollar bins. Everything else I really found in dollar bins that I needed. because there's really no keys. The Punisher really never had any villains or anything that stuck out, with the exception of Jigsaw. And if you want to consider Daredevil a villain. But seriously though, but if I had 3 copies of this, I believe I gave it to somebody. I mean, maybe Psychotronic Scorpion. I think I might have given him a copy of it, one of my copies, but I know I had 3 copies at one time. But the last thing that I guess we can talk about is annuals. So I consider myself a run collector, a completist, but I don't know if I consider annuals part of the collection, the run. I only have 3 of the annuals. I got this one. I got this awesome one right here. Versus Moon Knight. That was my introduction to Moon Knight. And this Lightform one. I ended up getting this one. I think this Punisher one for $1. And I bought this one off the newsstand. I remember paying $2 for it. Yeah, yep, right off the newsstand. At least the memory's not going completely. But I just remember just really enjoying this book. It's like $2. You got like double or 64 pages. But yeah, I'm not sure if I consider the annuals part of the completion of this run. If I have to get the annuals, I think there's like 7 annuals total for the volume 2 series. But I'm fine with what I got right now. I'm not really going to get, like I said, if I find them in a quarter bin or 50-cent bins, I might pick it up. But I'm not going to go, running on mycomicshop.com and ordering them all, or digging through back issue bins and putting on my list. It's just not something I consider to be complete a run. So that's my question. Do you think do you need all the annuals to have a complete run, or is it separate entity by itself? But appreciate you watching. Is there if you leave down in the comments or anything about runs that you've been collecting. It doesn't have to be a complete run. It could be a run of issues, like, I don't know, Swamp Thing issues like 21 to, or 20, issue 20 to like 67 or whatever. You can do it that way. There's something you've just been working on that took you decades to complete. I guess I'm still working on this. I want to replace that issue that's pissing me off a little bit. This issue 20, was it 25? Yeah, I bought this right off the read from page 3, the the magazine shop. Oh well, yeah, it's still okay. It can last another 30 years. But overall, this collection is, not worth anything to many people, but it's worth a lot to me. It's just, so many memories. I didn't get to go through almost everything, talking about different things, but I showed you pretty much the basics of what I feel about this collection. It's probably one of my favorites. It was one of my favorite characters growing up as a kid, and it's, he still was one of my favorites, but I just I like this version of him, Frank Castle, the Punisher. Just for nostalgia reasons. I had no desire to go get the Garth Ennis run. I'd like to read that stuff, but to me, this is the Punisher. This and Volume 1, the 5-issue miniseries that came out before this. I got that whole run completed, but I don't consider it part of this run. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Different kind of video than I'm used to doing. I might do a different one if I come up with a topic. But my topic was about the annuals. Is it complete? Considered complete if you don't have all the annuals also with your run. So just let me know what you think down below. All right, guys. Talk to you next time.